Gregg, Maya, and Betty are not experts, nor do they claim to be. They're just a bunch of nerds who enjoy talking about movies, shows, and current events. So sit back, grab a coffee, relax, and enjoy a brand new episode of All Queued Up.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of All Queued Up. This is Wow. This is a podcast where we talk about streaming services. That's what you're supposed to say when you host a show, everybody, just in case you were curious. Good Lord.
It happens.
Welcome to this particular episode where I'm apparently going to do that all the episode. Guys, what we do here is we talk about streaming shows on streaming services like Netflix and Amazon and Disney Plus and HBO Max. I'm your host, Greg Dietz. I'm out of my goddamn brain today. With me always is Maya Don Fisher and Betty Badger. How are you two been today? Or your week's been, I should say.
Ladies first. And I am not a lady, so.
Oh, me neither.
Oh, you're more lady than I am, I can tell you.
I've had a really good week. I got vaccinated.
Congrats.
Yeah. And the only side effect that I experienced was extreme arm soreness in the injection site here in my left arm. And it didn't even start. I didn't even feel the injection. I got it at 3:30 in the afternoon. About 9:30 that night, my arm started hurting. And the entire next day, if I moved my arm, any lateral movement at all, was just, oh, that sucks. But other than that, I was fine. Misty got her vaccination the next day. Same pharmacy. They were just completely booked up and only had so many doses to allocate on the Wednesday. So she had to go on Thursday. And her arm was the same way, but those were the only effects that either of us experienced.
And which vaccine did you get?
The Moderna.
Okay.
So it's the first dose of the Moderna vaccine, which is the one I wanted to get because of the effectiveness. And
Yeah, it's got a higher percentage.
Yeah. And it's 100% guaranteed that if for the off chance that it breaks through the 4% window there of protection that you do contract COVID, it's 100% effective against preventing a severe case of it. It would just be a mild case. So that's all you can ask for, really. So I'm really pleased about that. Other news, the doctor upped up the hormone dosage for me. So yay.
You mentioned that to us earlier this week, and I think I responded to you with like, "That's good, right?" Because I'm like,
yeah.
There's certain things I just don't know. So
when we got our vaccine, we got the Pfizer. Within 30 minutes, my arm was hurting. And I do have some sort of autoimmune condition, so I'm not surprised. But, other than the arm hurting for a few days, I would compare it to, a light version of PMS, just kind of a little run down for a couple of days at most,
Yeah, now that's something I forgot to mention. I was really tired, and that Thursday, I kind of slept and slept. And even that Friday, when normally we would have posted the show, I forgot that it was Friday. I just lost a day.
I've lost several days myself.
Then I was like late Friday evening. I was like, oh shit, I forgot to post the show today. I forgot to edit it yesterday. So I had to go edit it, which didn't take long. It's the rendering process. It takes forever. So I had to let it render and everything and just set it to post the next morning. I was like, oops.
But it all worked out. What about you, Greg? How's your week been?
It's been okay. I think the thing that's been the hardest is that my I don't know what it's associated to. It could be the vaccine. I don't know, but my dad has been having a lot of trouble with his legs.
I'm still having problems with my hip and pelvis, so I understand.
Yeah, I don't know if his knee still hurts, but his ankle has been absolutely fucking killing him. The problem is it's the ankle he drives with. So we haven't worked a ton in the past like 3 or 4 days.
Yeah.
And luckily it's in the middle of the month. It's not the part of the month where we have to make rent. So we're okay. But it seems to be getting better, which is nice. He we're doing what we can with it and whatnot. So, but Sunday, I told you guys about this, was such a weird fucking day. Sunday was my most eventful day. I woke up and I checked the get my payment, see if my parents' stimulus was coming in, and they were supposed to get it this week. Hopefully they got it today. That's when it said it was supposed to be in their account. We'll see. But
I still haven't gotten mine.
Really?
Have you checked?
Have you checked the website?
Yeah, it says payment status not available.
Yeah, we had a lot of problems getting in there, but we did get ours like in the middle of last week.
Well, see, they released one batch last week on the 17th, and they released a batch today on the 24th.
Yeah.
I've still not gotten mine. I'm like,
I would check because that was the thing is I kept checking my parents over and over. Well, my dad's primarily, but they share a fucking account. So, and when the week that I got mine, I kept checking theirs, and his kept saying over and over, not available, not available, not available. And it wasn't until Sunday that it said it should be there on the 24th. And I went, oh, fucking cool. I got all excited about it, went downstairs, told my dad, got coffee, came upstairs, proceeded to just kind of hang out and do nothing in the morning. Had to poop real fucking bad. Got up a little too fast, and well, yeah. But it wasn't a lot. It was just enough for me to need to take a shower. Like the cleanup wasn't that bad. And but in the process of taking the shower and trying to wash off my underwear, broke the shower head. So my dad was like, how bad did you break it? Can I fix it? And I was like, it's the fucking top piece where you turn it to like get the different speeds of the shower head. And he goes, yeah, I can't fix that. We have to go get a new one. I was like, fuck. All right, whatever. My bad. I come back into the room after that situation, and I'm just chilling, and I get an email, and it's from DoorDash, and it was like, hey, you can get 30% off an order. No, it was $30 off. $30 off an order. No, it wasn't DoorDash. It was Uber Eats. Doesn't matter. Point is I was able to get $30 off an order. So I went and ordered some food for about $28 and ended up only having to spend the $5 for delivery fee. No, delivery fee, and then I tipped the driver $5. So $10 for the whole meal, which was really nice. Got all excited about that. After I was done eating, we went to Home Depot, and I went to the shower head aisle, looked at all of them, and I didn't want to spend too much, so I got this $25 one. It looked nice enough. It looked fine, serviceable for a while. As I'm walking up to the register, I noticed on an end cap, there's a whole bunch of stuff, and one of the things is a Moen shower head, and it has like 9 fucking speeds on it, and it was only $30. And I was like, I know that brand. That's a trustworthy brand. This, whatever the fuck I have, is not. So I put that down, and I pick up the Moen. I go to the fucking register, and the girl scans it. She goes, that'll be $64. I went, well,
excuse me?
Yeah. And I went, sorry, I guess that was in the wrong area, and I thought it was $30. I'll go put it back and grab a different one. And she goes, no, I can change that for you. No problem. Pardon me? She goes, yeah, no, it's fine. You said it was on an end cap? I go, yeah. And she goes, okay, we'll have someone go take a look at it. You get this for $30 today.
Sweet.
Fucking rad. $60 fucking shower head for $30. You know that you're getting older, too, when that's exciting, by the way?
Oh, yeah.
So
it's like there's 2 things in my life that I want more than anything else: a new stove and a new dishwasher. Those would make me the happiest girl in the world. I'd feel like fucking Cinderella.
I get so much more excited about like everyday items now than I do toys or games or shit. It's so funny.
And deals.
I
love to get a deal.
I get excited over new toys all the time.
Well, you're a collector, so there's that.
Well, I got some new stuff in the past week too. So yay.
So we head home after that, and for the rest of the day there wasn't a whole lot. I think I tried to take a nap, but in the evening, my dad said, "Let's go get some dinner." And I said, "Where do you want to go?" He's, I want another Impossible Whopper. All right, let's go get you an Impossible Whopper. So I get their new chicken sandwich, so onion rings. He gets the Impossible Whopper, some fries, whatever, no biggie. I eat everything, smoke a whole joint, and then I'm just chilling, and my brain was like, "Hey, you know that thing with Epic?" Now, just to clarify some information, Epic owns Fall Guys now, or I should say Mediatonic, the company who makes Fall Guys. There's a very high likelihood, thank you, that when Fall Guys comes to the Switch and the Xbox, it'll be A, free to play, B, cross play and cross save. Because of this, I would like to have my Epic account on my PlayStation. A long fucking time ago, when my nephews were still living here in Elk Grove, they wanted to play Fortnite on their PlayStation 4. They didn't have an Epic account. So I just tied my Epic account to their PlayStation because I didn't own a PlayStation at the time. When the Predator game came out, I don't know if you guys remember that or if you've heard of that game. Basically, one player is Predator, 4 players are the soldiers. It was tied to Epic, but I had to create a new Epic account. I then tried to switch that out. It was a pain in the ass. Yeah. Long story short, I was able to contact Epic, and they were like, "Yeah, can you just give us information about the email tied to it and your gamer or your PN gamer tag, a gamer tag that's tied to Epic on a different console?" And I went, "Yeah, sure." So my email is chubrock3000@gmail.com. Y'all can email that all you want. My gamer tag is chubrockgeek. My that's tied to Epic. My Epic account is chubrockgeek. My PlayStation is chubrockgeek, and I literally typed into that email. I think you see a pattern here. So I get an email back. What's that?
You think?
What's that, Ben? Yeah. So I get an email back with yeah, clearly you have a pattern. I went ahead and just erased whatever account was tied to your whatever PlayStation was tied to your Epic account. So now you should be able to tie your current PSN to Epic. I was like, fucking rad. So now when it comes to the Xbox and Switch, I'll be able to have all my skins transfer over. Hopefully, they haven't said whether that's going to be the thing or not, but from a certain perspective, Rocket League and Fortnite did that. So why the fuck not now Fall Guys? But here's where things took a weird turn. So this is why I tell the story, because the whole day was just up and down. Like, it was like, this sucked, but this was cool, and then this was cool, and then this fucking sucked. All of a sudden later that night, about an hour after that whole ordeal, my stomach just felt terrible. It felt like it was bloating. And I tried to lay down. It didn't help. It kept hurting and hurting. And I was like, what the fuck? It felt like I was really, really, really full, but nothing was happening. At about 11:10, I stood up and I was like, I'm just going to try to go back to sleep. And as soon as I stood up, I got that taste in my mouth like I was about to throw up. Here's the thing about me. I never fucking throw up. I think the last time I actually legitimately threw up was maybe fucking 10 years ago.
That's no Jeff. He goes every 30 years without throwing up. And I'm like, how do you do this?
I just never do. I have a really fucking strong stomach. But whatever
I have a really strong gag reflex.
That's the funny part. I do too. I absolutely do too. Really strong gag reflex. If I smell or see anything that's a bodily fluid other than pee or blood, it grosses me out and I will start to gag. But I just don't throw up.
Oh my God. I clean up cat puke on the daily because we have so many. And Jeff will know when I'm doing it, especially if he's still in bed, because I'll be going, "Huh!" trying to get it into the trash can as quick as I can and just not think about it.
So funny related story to that, Betty. I took Scarlett on a walk and she decided to poop, and I was like, okay, I got to pick it up. And there's these girls walking down the street who are like attractive, and I'm just like, hi, late. I was just trying to, sorry, and they're fucking laughing their ass off. I'm like, I know this is funny. It's bad. Like
that would be me. Stories. There'd be hot guys walking by, and I'd be picking up some Milo shit, and I'd be like, "You're really."
I can't handle fecal matter, even my own. I'll puke every time.
I'm gonna kind of deviate real quick from. I'm gonna finish my story, and then I have a story for both of you that's really fucking funny, and our audience will love that too. So let me tell what happened. So about 11 o'clock, I threw up. It was a lot, and then I was like, "Hey, I kind of feel better." My mom was like, "You never throw up. Are you okay?" Like she got really worried, and I was like, "I don't know. I feel a little bit better. I'm gonna go lay down." She's like, "Yeah, go lay down." I wake up at 2 o'clock in the morning. I have to shit bad, and it is just it's not good. It was just like liquid death. And,
were you having pain in the upper abdominal area?
No. It was just the only pain I had the entire night was just in my stomach. Like full on.
It sounds like a gallstone, honestly, because I had chronic cholecystitis for over 10 years. And when I would have a gallstone, I would have pain in my stomach, and then like within a few hours I'd be sitting on the toilet shitting myself and sweating to death, and then hot and cold. What I'm talking about, Maya.
Yeah, well, it wasn't that. It was literally like me and my dad figured it out. It was 100% the Burger King, because he ended up having also liquid death shits, but he didn't have the stomach pain that I had.
You shouldn't eat too many of those Impossible Whoppers. They have a lot
I didn't have an Impossible
sodium.
Burger.
Okay.
I didn't have one. Dad only had one. I had, like I said, I had
somebody must have had some nasty fingers.
I think so. Like there was something bad about it, but I've been fine since like Sunday or Monday morning. I woke up, no problems at all. And then Tuesday, no problems at all. Today I woke up fine. No issues. So I don't think it's in like an underlying issues or anything. I think it was a one-time bad food situation. Okay, so on to the story that I think will make you both fucking laugh really hard. Do you guys remember the show Fear Factor that was on a long fucking time ago?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. There was in this particular episode, there was a challenge where they had to eat a martini of bugs. What one of these contestants did was chewed up most of it and spit it back into the martini glass. I have to tell this very quickly or I will start to gag because it's that gross to me. I was so grossed out by it, and I'm standing by the fucking screen door in our house, and my brother is on the couch, Josh, he's just going, so fucking puke through the screen door. Like, puke through the screen door, please. Like, filter that shit. That'd be hilarious. And I'm just like,
no,
don't do that. Don't do that.
Actually, that would be pretty funny from a different.
You know what, motherfucker? Get drunk and do it yourself. Not doing that.
So I was prepared to run out onto the grass and puke if I needed to, which is really funny because I just should have been in the kitchen, near the garbage can. But my dumb fucking brain was like, outside's a good idea, where you can't clean it up.
Some dog will eat it.
So it gets worse.
Greg's trying not to think about a dog eating it.
Hold on, it gets worse. I'm standing by the screen door. I'm gagging. I'm legitimately grossed out by this, but I can't stop watching. It just comes to a head. I'm like, I gotta puke. So screen door's right fucking here. Like I'm like 2 feet from it. I run towards the kitchen. I was prepared to run out the screen door, ran towards the kitchen. I run inside, but it's just coming out. And it hits the fucking linoleum right where our microwave is. I slip on my own fucking puke, do a fucking baseball slide into the microwave stand. Josh stands up and goes, "Safe!" My dad starts fucking cry laughing. My mom is screaming at me about puking in the house. I get up just covered in my own puke.
Okay, here's a tip from a, once upon a time chronic puker. Put your hands over your mouth and hold it until you get to the closest receptacle.
Betty, this was when I was like 22. I'm 37. I'm well aware how to puke now.
Okay. Well, again, this was something I learned very, very young. I've thrown up in my mouth with my hands over it many, many times,
Well, there was on that note,
closest thing is the bathroom sink.
When I was like, I want to say 16, give or take, there was at the state capitol, Sacramento State Capitol. We went there with my dad. He was a registered nurse at the time, and he was I might have been 15. I don't remember. Anyway, and we went there to do the MS walk. It was a charity event for multiple sclerosis. He had a lot of patients with multiple sclerosis, so that's why we did that. And before we went to the Capitol, we stopped off at Burger King, oddly enough, and it didn't sit right.
I see a recurring theme here.
Yeah.
Who doesn't love Burger King?
Same exact Burger King, by the way.
Oh, that's
well. That's the funny part. Is like I've had Burger King plenty of times in between these two instances, never had an issue. But yeah, weird. I don't know. That's very fucking coincidental. Anyway, we were at the Capitol steps. I'm not feeling great. My mom can see I'm kind of green around the gills, and she's like, "What's wrong?" And I'm like, "I don't know. My stomach hurts." I then do this because I'm about to fucking puke. And I put my hand over my mouth, but like I've done this, I've made a tinier hole for the puke to come out of. And it just rockets onto my brother's shoulder, on Jeffrey's shoulder. He turns around, looks at me, and he does this, and he goes, "He puked on me!" My dad grabs the back of my head and just shoves it in the trash can right fucking next to us.
And then the smell of that hot trash.
Well, I'm sure that whatever was inside me fucking was out. And so my dad then has to buy a brand new shirt for Jeffrey. And because, of course, it's a charity event, the shirts cost way the fuck more than they normally would. At the time, and the size of Jeff, a shirt costs like maybe $5. This was a $40 shirt back in like fucking the late 90s. Inflation would say that shirt was about $80 now. The other memory that I have from that same day is that I was feeling sick, so they were just like, just chill up with the booths. Like there was a lady that my parents knew, and I just hung out with her. And I kind of walked around the Capitol that day. But one of the moments, or one of the memories I have from that is that same day there was a Star Trek convention in Sacramento. And one of the guests that they had there was the guy who played the hologram doctor from Voyager.
Oh yeah, I love him.
He was there, and so Josh had ended up not feeling good. He came back up to the front. He didn't finish the walk, and so him and I were just hanging out around the Capitol, and all of a sudden we just see that guy at the fucking door of the Capitol. And we both were just like, do we say hi? Do we go talk to him? What do we do?
Puke on him.
Yeah, go puke
That's
on him.
good.
Just tell him.
Yeah.
Just tell him what?
I'm so excited.
I get
I think
when I'm around people that are awesome.
All right, so we're on limited time frame today. What are we going to do?
Yeah, we should get moving forward. We'll just everybody. So welcome to this weird start to this podcast. Today we're going to be talking about the first episode of Falcon and Winter Soldier, and then we have a discussion that we need to talk about, even if it's briefly, but we need to talk about it. So this is the second show in the Phase 4 of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I think the next one will be Loki, but Falcon and Winter Soldier takes place 6 months after the blip, which, if you're following what's going on in the MCU, that's when Hulk snapped everyone back into existence from Endgame. And we pick up where Falcon is on a mission, like a government contract to rescue some military. I just bit my own tongue. Military hostages. What did you guys like think of the episode going forward from that point? What are your guys' thoughts?
Well, I did have to look up a little bit of information to know exactly where I was at, but overall, I didn't think it was a bad episode. It's definitely different than WandaVision. There's a lot of blow-em-ups going on, you know. I do like the fact that the Winter Soldier has gone on the straight and narrow is the best way to put it, and he's trying to make amends, but he's not very good at it.
No, he's not.
Yeah. I think, you know, with just this first episode, the show has a lot of potential. I was really, really pissed when he donated Captain America's shield, and the next thing you know, there's doofus Mick America, you know, because that's not, no, what the fuck.
So
that's the Patriot John Walker.
He'll later likely become U.S. soldier. As a matter of fact, the director was in an interview. U.S. agent, my bad. Sorry, yeah, U.S. agent, my bad. Yeah, the director was in an interview like the day the episode aired, and he was talking about how like that character will be here to stay, but he won't be anything like the U.S. agent from the comic books. Don't know what that means exactly, but
if you look at his costume, it looks almost exactly like the black U.S. agent costume.
Right. Yes.
But I really enjoyed this episode. You know, I thought the action was great when it was, you know, there. I love the story with Sam, you know, returning home to help his sister and nephews, you know, and the facts that, well, you're an Avenger, you know, don't you get paid? He's like, no, it doesn't work like that. We act on acts of goodwill.
We're anonymous, you know. I mean,
and he's like, he doesn't get even though he's world famous, he can't even get a bank loan to help his family out, and he's struggling. And then with the obvious, well, to me obvious, but it's not overt. It's the casual racism of him turning in the shield, saying that it just felt right that he shouldn't carry the shield, even though Steve gave it to him. And now here it is on white bread.
And see, we're still not sure what's up with Steve. Nobody's actually said exactly what had happened to Steve. You know, then we have this dude's like he's on a secret moon base.
Well, what we know for a fact is that when he time traveled at the end of Endgame, he went to a different timeline to spend his life.
Oh yeah, I completely forgot about that.
He then came back to the original timeline as an old man to give the shield to Sam. So, so the theory is that either A, he's just living out the rest of his life in this timeline as an old man, because at this point he'd be like 107 or some shit like that, and that when that he'll eventually just die, or he went back to the timeline where Peggy lived. But even if that's the case, Peggy's likely dead in that timeline. So who the fuck knows? But also, I think in that same vein, it's kind of like, who cares? He's not like, you can't do anything with Steve. Like, you can't really have him. I think the best way you could handle it is like kind of what they did in the comics with She-Hulk. And there's this whole comic line where old man Steve, because he did age properly.
Steve.
He's being sued by some other guy for something that happened in World War II. And Steve like hires She-Hulk to defend him. You could do that for the movies or for the She-Hulk TV show, but I don't think it's necessary, and I don't think they'll likely do that. But I don't think
this Captain America is going to be around for long either.
Who, the U.S. agent?
Yeah, the one that
John Walker.
Yeah, I mean, not as Captain America. I don't think he's gonna.
No, that's.
But I am curious to see who they're going to bring in as the new Captain America.
What'll likely happen
in the comics? Both Falcon and Bucky have both been Captain America.
Yeah. Okay, so, that'll be cool.
I think that's one of the biggest reasons that they have the show the way that it is it's going to kind of go, who's going to take the mantle. I think that either one of two things is going to happen with U.S. Agent. It's going to be an Agatha thing where she's a one-off villain, maybe to come back, big old fucking maybe, we'll see. But essentially a one-off character that's just going to be a problem for this show. We know that Baron Zemo is the main villain of this show because they've advertised the living shit out of him. But there could also be a swerve, and there could be a bigger villain. I don't fucking know.
I still think, based off the last episode of WandaVision, that Agatha will be appearing in more either series or movies, even, because she is a huge fan favorite for one, and Wanda's words to her, "If I need you, I know where to find you." She's gonna make a comeback, and that's the big thing about a good one.
That's the big thing about Marvel. People have to understand is that if a character is a fan favorite, they will find a way to bring the character back. I know that Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is no longer canon to the larger MCU, but Coulson was brought back from the first Avengers movie. Like, he was killed by Loki, and then you saying that, 100%, very likely that she'll be back, in my opinion.
Yeah, because if you go on
we don't know.
Facebook and you look up for WandaVision and gifts, half of them are going to be her, not Wanda. Absolutely. They're going to be her because people absolutely love her, and she was great at the role as a cheery, sure, hon, and I'm gonna kill you. I loved it. She was amazing.
The only characters that I know for sure are gone in the MCU are going to be Black Widow, Captain America, and Iron Man, and that's only because the actors playing them they don't really want to come back necessarily. Like, they're done. And with the MCU, you kind of have to allow that to happen. You have to let characters die in the MCU, because where the comics, you can just bring them back from a different timeline or something to that effect. It's fine. But Robert Downey Jr. is getting old. Chris Evans is getting old. Well, maybe not him per se, but you get my point. These actors aren't going to want to play these roles forever, and their agents are going to ask for more and more money as time goes on. So, you have to kind of let the character go. And that being said, though, when a new thing comes out, a new show, something bigger, and it is I'll say this much: we all love Agatha. She's great. We might fucking fall in love with John Walker. We don't know. I know that everybody hated him at the very end because of the implications put there, but we could totally turn that around. We could end up loving John Walker.
Have you seen the side-by-side comparison of him and the main character from Up with a Captain America mask on?
No.
It's pretty funny. I'll find it and send it to you later. It's great.
You know what's really funny is that actor is not bad looking. It's really funny because
he looks funny in that mask.
Oh yeah, I think they did that intentionally. They didn't want him to look as attractive as Chris Evans in it, so they were like, make him look a little doofy.
Captain Do-Rat. I mean, come on, look at that chin.
My suspicion.
Dudley Do-Rat,
Yeah, my suspicion of how they're going to play U.S. Agent is they're going to keep the idea of him being kind of a dick, because the way that I explained, and I know, Betty, this won't make a whole lot of sense to you, but in the Green Lanterns, there are a bunch of lanterns.
Guy Gardner.
It's a I
fucking love Guy Gardner.
So yeah,
he's such an asshole.
There's Hal Jordan, who was a fighter pilot. He's a bit of a Boy Scout, if you will. Then there was Guy Gardner, and Guy Gardner is he's a dick, but he's also hilarious. He's not a complete piece of shit, but he definitely has moments of man, just shut the fuck up and get the job done. And it's always entertaining to watch. If Hal Jordan is Captain America, fucking U.S. Agent is Guy Gardner. That's the best way that I can put it. And But again, the director said that, you know, this U.S. agent is not going to be the same one that we recognize from the comics. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm excited to see where it goes. I'm excited to see what happens. I think one of the big things to me that's fascinating is they're not playing with, I shouldn't put it that way, but they're definitely using the idea of like racial injustice within even the MCU. You know, what trauma can actually do to a person. And I fucking love that. They're not just going, hey, superhero show. They're like actually making things, I want to say serious.
Yeah. I really like the fact how they're dealing with Bucky's traumas from his times as Winter Soldier, and now he's, you know, going and trying to make amends. And that moment of realization when he realized that his friend that he's hanging out with, that sets him up on a date, the old Asian fellow, that he just murdered the guy's son because he was wrong place, wrong time, and just was like, sorry, you witnessed this, now you have to go. And how it's eating at him. I love that they're dealing with that.
Yeah,
you know, the issues that Sam's dealing with, the issues that Bucky's dealing with, and then we know that those two have a very rocky relationship anyway.
Yeah.
When they do bring them together, I'm really looking forward to how it plays out. Sorry.
So people have pointed out something about that, not specifically that scene that you're talking about, Maya, but the one where he's on the date with the girl at the bar.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the big things they did with Tony's character throughout the MCU is dealing with his trauma and his PTSD in different ways. You can see it throughout all the movies that he's in and whatnot. And there's a scene, I don't remember which movie exactly, but there's a scene where he fixes, like, there's a perpetual motion device on a table, and he fixes it with the arm that bothers him.
Yeah,
they did the
that was the second Iron Man movie.
Okay, yeah, I couldn't. Yeah, okay, second. Okay,
I just watched it recently. That's why.
Oh, all right. I wouldn't have spotted that because I haven't watched fucking Iron Man 2 in God knows how fucking long. But yeah, I thought that was like a nice little nod of like, hey, this character's dealing with trauma, and here's how you can recognize it. So I was really happy with that. But
well,
yeah, I don't know. I'm very excited to see where the show goes. I mean, we have the Flag Smashers, which is going to be an adversary for a while. We know Baron Zemo's coming up. I'm excited to see Sharon Carter into the fucking scene. Though yeah, I will admit, sorry, I will admit I wasn't expecting John Walker. So there's that.
I intentionally didn't even watch the trailer for the show. I just wanted to go in totally blind. And I'm liking what I'm seeing so far.
I'll say this much. Disney. Sorry, Betty.
Oh, yeah. I'm just saying, yeah, I agree.
Disney does an excellent job at not spoiling anything. And I think that giving us Baron Zemo and giving us Sharon Carter and absolutely fucking nothing else is very clever. Because there's going to be stuff in the show that I'm not going to see coming. Like, same for WandaVision. Look at the trailer. The even the second to last, or not second to last, but the last trailer that they made for Endgame, and then go look at how they changed it for Endgame. Complete fucking sideswipe. So I personally think that even watching the trailers for these shows and stuff isn't going to change anything. I think we're all going to have the same experience. We're all going to have the same, like, what the fuck? So that's.
I agree. I just, hadn't gone out of my way to watch it or anything like that. It's just like, it's so hard to judge what you're going to get from a trailer anyway.
Sure.
I do it so I don't form any preconceived notions about what I expect the show to be based on the trailer.
Yeah.
I like to formulate that on my own, whereas a lot of people, and that's a problem in a lot of fandoms, they build up their expectations of what they think will happen and then judge it based on their missed expectations instead of the merit or lack thereof of what they're watching.
I wholeheartedly agree with you. I certainly don't fucking do that.
No, I just try to avoid any possibility of that.
Gotcha. My expectations are usually in the vein of like, this looks like it'll be good, and so far with Marvel, it hasn't disappointed. But
unlike that Snyder cut, oh god,
I haven't watched that yet. I'm kind of like I'm still putting it off.
Yeah,
I will eventually watch it.
Nope,
did I send you guys the picture did I send you guys the picture that GameSpot put up? It basically breaks down each part into digestible chunks, so you don't have to watch it all in one go.
Cool.
Well,
like
there's each chapter is bookmarked in the show. It's like 7 parts or something like that. I got a lot to say about it, but that's neither here nor there because we're not reviewing that. But what do you guys think? Should we go ahead and give us a grade for the first episode of Falcon and Winter Soldier?
Yeah, I want Betty to go first on this since I did like 85% of the talking.
I think I give it a B+. It's a good beginning, and I think it has a lot of potential, and I'm curious to see where it goes. So, what about you, Maya?
I'm gonna give it an A. I thought it was really solid, well done. I like the issues that we're getting, that help add depth and layers to these characters that you can't get from a 2 to 2.5 hour movie, especially with an ensemble cast. Now we get more focus on them. So just in the setup, I think it was really set up very well. And I'm excited to see more. So I'm going to give it an A. And Greg? Greg froze.
I mirror what you guys say. How well it looks. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Am I audible?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Mirror what you guys said. I think it was an excellent episode. I'm really excited to see where it goes. I think I'm not giving it an A+ because it seemed to be a slower paced production than I was expecting. But then maybe that's because I was expecting something. So there's that. But it was like that opening sequence was just action, and then the rest of it was not. I was kind of hoping to maybe see Falcon take on another thing, but I think the direction they took it with Bucky's trauma and the fact that Falcon has to deal with racial stuff. I mean, that's actually something from the comics that was existent in the comics. I think I don't know if I've mentioned this, but there was an issue that a friend let me borrow from I think the 70s, and it was maybe the early 80s, but it was Shield basically told all these Avengers, seriously, there was 100 fucking Avengers in the Avengers mansion, and Shield came in and said there can only be 6, so everyone else has to go except for these 6 or some shit like that. Falcon was one of the chopping block. So suddenly there was now a threat, and so all the Avengers were heading to a location to fight the threat, and on the way there, Falcon and Iron Man are flying together. And Falcon is talking about how he knows that part of the reason that he was cut is because he's black. He's like, they don't ever give me missions. They always put me on the sideline. I'm always dealing with cats in a tree type of situations. I know what's going on. I'm not blind to it. To which then he joined the West Coast Avengers or whatever. But
interesting how it mirrors the Bad Boys in a way, or the boys, not the Bad Boys.
So, yeah, I was gonna say that's.
Yeah.
I think we'll see more of that too. I really do. I think we're going to see more of like explanations for how the world works, and I really hope that they follow through with a show that had kind of been bouncing around called Damage Control, which is about insurance people via the MCU.
Like, look at all this collateral damage people have caused.
Oh,
Who's responsible for all the cleanup?
I think about that every time.
That show's been bouncing around for a hot minute, but they haven't said if they're going to make it or not. I really hope they do, because it could be really interesting. It could be funny, and it could be interesting into how that works. So, because that's the other thing about the opening of that scene is that like Falcon just straight killed a bunch of people. Like, we saw terrorists die in the opening sequence of that show. So
yeah,
like
I love the fact that they brought George St. Pierre's character back from was it Civil War? Was he in Civil War? The one where Cap and I'm pretty sure it was Civil War, where Cap and Black Widow at the beginning are on the cruise, the battleship, and they have to, take out these terrorists. And while they're taking out these terrorists, she has to download information from the hard drives on the ship's facilities while Cap's fighting everybody. George St. Pierre was playing BlackRock, I think it was.
Okay, I was like, I have to go back and watch that, because the most that I remember from that opening sequence is the part with Scarlet Witch and Crossbones killing himself.
Okay, that was Civil War. Then I must be thinking about Winter Soldier.
I haven't watched Winter Soldier in a hot minute, so it might be him from Winter Soldier. But I honestly don't remember.
No, that's not the same name.
You looking it up?
Yeah, I'm gonna look up his name. I'm misremembering the name. While I'm looking that up.
Yeah, I was like, let's move on to the topic that I wanted to bring up. So this is a little heavy, everybody. I just want you to understand that.
No, it's BATROC. 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 He was in Winter Soldier too.
Okay. Well, okay. I didn't even recognize that. That's rad. I had no idea. So the subject that I want to bring up is, in the past 2 weeks, we've had 2 mass shootings in this country. One of which was targeted towards Asian Americans. Now, whether the guy who shot everybody says that he did it for racial reasons or because it's women, what the fuck ever reason he had, it doesn't matter, because it brought to light something that pisses me the absolute fuck off. I actually just did a podcast with my buddy Anthony, and at the end of it, I did like a little, because there's a trend in this country that is infuriating. And that's when something happens that affects our lives, affects others' lives, and the person who is perpetuated in that crime, not even have to be a crime. It could be something innocuous, like a fucking virus. People are targeted. People who are associated with that targeted. So, for example, in this situation, the virus comes from Wuhan, China. Suddenly, all Asian people in this fucking country are now targeted by idiots. I remember back to 9/11, because it was Muslims that, I assume they were Muslims, I don't fucking know, but they were Middle Easterns for sure, that flew the planes into the Twin Towers. Suddenly in this country, every single person of Middle Eastern descent was targeted. I remember hearing on the news every week, a new Middle Eastern person was beat to death or shot, or for whatever reason. If you are a smart, logical person in this country, and you see this shit and you go, this is wrong. I mean, I could even go as far back as Pearl Harbor and putting Japanese people in internment camps, but whatever. If you see this,
the Asian American has not had a good history in America, period, from when they first started coming over until today. And we have basically ignored the fact of Asian American violence for a very long time. And it took something this horrendous to bring it to the forefront.
What the thing that sucks to me, Betty, is that for me personally, it's not what brought it to the forefront. Because I've known about it for a long fucking time. It's like in this
we have, but does the news talk about it like they do black violence or any other violence out there that is perpetrated upon a certain group of people? They really don't. I noticed that until this happened, there was an explosion of speaking about the Asian American violence that goes on in this country that should have been a talking point all along with all the other people that we, Americans target, as a group. And unfortunately, they were kind of swept under the rug for a very, very long time.
Absolutely. The thing in this country that I think we've talked about on this podcast and I've talked about to other people, and this is something that you people have to understand. If you're not white in this country, you have been treated fucking terribly in this country. Period. And like, I'm not even just talking about like, you have to be white Anglo-Saxon. You have to be like, Betty in the background right now has Celtic music going on. But when Irish people came to this country for the first time, do you think they were treated fairly and justly?
No, they had very derogative words for them that were, a lot of people said they were worse than blacks, and it wasn't a good situation for them. I mean, throughout American history, we have had a circle of continually berating and belittling groups of people that they felt didn't belong. Absolutely. And, it's time for that cycle to end. It needs to stop.
And that's the great thing about the internet. That's I think the best thing about the internet is that now people are seeing this. Now people understand. I've known about it for a long time. I've been taught this stuff from a long fucking time. I've watched things that they're like, hey, look at this history, look at this information. I remember seeing a news headline that was like a white guy killed an Irishman in New York. And the way the news headline was written was like, was very derogatory towards the victim. And I remember seeing that just going, you have to be fucking kidding me. And I, of course, did the rabbit hole of like all sorts of shit in this country that has just been fucking terrible. Like there was a story in the 1950s of a young black girl that was kidnapped. And when the mom went to the police station to report it, they did nothing. And I went, that's terrible. I'm glad we don't do that today. And then somebody was like, hey,
no, we do.
Look at the news when a person of color is kidnapped. How much does the news talk about it versus a young girl that's white? I was like, holy shit.
There was a case here in Abingdon where a Mexican woman's daughter who was 15 went missing. And this was years ago. The police didn't do anything about it. They didn't advertise it like they would have if it had been a white girl, and it's sickening to me because, unlike a lot of America, let's get down, sweetie. I grew up in a world where, there were people of every ethnicity, creed, and color to be found. And to, realize the rest of the world was not like that was pretty shocking to me. So, and coming here, and when I found out about that girl's story, I got really upset, because she's still a child. She was 15 years old and you did nothing. You just consider her a runaway and you do nothing. I'm sorry, she's 15. If she's not old enough to consent to be able to do all the things that adults can do, then she's a child and she needs to be brought back. They had the resources, they just didn't use them.
Yeah.
Hold on a second. Oh, there we go.
I was going to say that In regards to why we're bringing this up now, the Asian community is hurting with an ex-president that would say China virus.
Yeah, and not just that like that. I mean, Jeff's made it a point many times. China. That's how he said it. China. Into a microphone.
It's like nails on a chalkboard.
Reverberates.
It was more than one syllable, so the fucking asshole had to fucking think really hard how to pronounce it, I guess.
Yeah. At least it was.
I'm glad he's gone.
Imagine
I love the fact we've not heard shit from him in 2 months.
Oh, I know. Well, it's like every time I get on Facebook and Twitter, I'm like, it's so nice. I don't have to listen to this shit anymore.
So it's not entirely true that we haven't heard from him because he has put out like presidential letters from the office of him, and they are basically Twitter posts. Yeah, but I don't have to read them when I go on Twitter, so I'm happy. Right. Yeah, you can avoid that shit like the plague. I think it's kind of funny because
that's the saying that we should get rid of, avoid it like the plague, because we've seen Americans don't give a fuck about avoiding plagues.
Honey, they never have, and it's not just American.
They just want to blame people for them. Mm-hmm. And that's what this all boils down to is
exactly 100%.
When something happens in our society that somebody suffers or it affects everyone's lives, they just want to blame someone, and the problem is it's usually a specific race or
it's a disparaged group.
It's definitely a disparaged group, yes.
Yeah, throughout history, from the one in the 1300s and on, because those were the ones that we first knew about. There are earlier plagues, but they weren't the same. But Jews have typically taken the brunt of plagues. They've been they were accused of poisoning whales. They were accused of having deals with Satan. The fact that they were unconscionable people. There was one story I read in the 1500s. They took a group of Jews on a boat, and this was in England. They took a bunch of Jews on a boat and stuck them on an island that they knew was going to flood and there would be no survivors, and they didn't care. They didn't care at all, from that point on until when the Jews started coming over here because of the pogroms and the Holocaust. They have been horribly treated throughout history. I mean, blamed for everything. It's insane. And now Asians are feeling that. And it's not the whole thing, but they're feeling a fraction of it from this already, on top of what they've had to deal with to begin with, being Asian Americans.
Yeah. The thing to me that upsets me the most is that as a white person, I've always had this concept of this country being a country of acceptance and prosperity. It's been drilled into my head since I was a kid.
And as I get older, intent.
I know it was indoctrination. It's really, really, really hard to accept the fact that your country is racist. It's really, really hard to accept the fact that your country that you have grown up in is fucked up.
You love the idea that you were sold as a child, and you wish it would be that way. And I mourn it, because I know we're all in a close enough age range that, when we graduated, we thought things were only going to get better. And it wasn't. But a few years later, shit hit the fan and everything went downhill. And that's when I say, the terrorists won, because while they may not have taken out, a whole entire city, they did create a horrible division among all Americans.
Mhm.
And it's sad. It's really, really sad because I really thought we only had one place to go, and that was up. And 9/11 just threw us down into a spiral that we can't seem to find our way out of.
I think, honestly, a part of that too, Betty, is not just 9/11, but the internet.
Oh yeah,
it being the wild, wild west. Like, the age of information has also turned into the age of disinformation. If you look at any age in time and that has a name behind it, like the Bronze Age or something to that effect, or the medieval age or whatever, there's always something that's a real big negative or downside to it. And that's the same thing with the information age. The biggest downside to the information age is the internet. It's 100% the fact that we aren't regulating certain parts of the internet, which is hard to do because you can't do that. You can't just regulate certain parts of the internet necessarily. Like, yes, you can put regulations on Facebook, but that doesn't mean you're putting regulations on all social media. But then that turns into a slippery slope of like, how much regulation do you put down, and how, like, you have to force the companies to change, and it's a pain in the ass. The reason I bring this up is because, to me, as much as I love the internet, it's what brought me to YouTube. It's what brought me, all the podcasts I've ever done. It's great. My closest friends are because of the internet. Whatever. The biggest issue that I have is there has been a significant lack in critical thinking in this country. And I don't know what that's from. We can have whatever the fuck we want on the internet. We can have people spouting whatever we want. We've had people, conspiracy theorists of all kinds, everywhere. Somebody like QAnon would have been laughed out of a room in the 90s. But today, he has a platform that people believe. And then you have news organizations that pop up out of nowhere that spout that bullshit. It's very,
and the education system hasn't taught children better. What do you think? I mean, they're not really giving our kids the tools to protect themselves in situations like that and to question, because they demand obedience.
The education system is not designed to teach critical thinking or rational thought. It's designed, as you said, to create obedient workers. That's all it is. It's like, they set these arbitrary bars and say, you must be at this level by this time in your life, instead of letting kids learn at their own pace, learn about what that fascinates them, what they're truly interested in, and it puts these insane pressures on them. And by the time they do graduate, it's broken them to the point to where they're going to be obedient little workers. I hate our system so much.
And the problem is they're not doing it because it is hard, but at the same time the parents aren't doing it either. And when it comes to the internet, this is the age our children are growing up in. This is what they know. I think it's the duty of a parent to inform their children of how to think critically when viewing things on the internet, not to believe them. For everything, parents are the number one go-to. It's like, why are Asian people getting beat up? Because somebody's fucking parents didn't teach them right from fucking wrong. You don't do that shit. You don't hit people, period. It's just not done.
It's 100%. It's 100%.
Unless they hit you first, then I condone hitting back.
Well, yeah, but
that I know what you're saying.
Whack the shit out of them, walk away. Like Jesus said, turn the other cheek. And I'm an atheist, so
that Jesus guy had some good ideas, though.
Yeah, I love Jesus. Can't stand his followers.
Here's the thing. Like, if you really translate, look what Jesus was. He was a total fucking communist. And
Oh gosh,
his followers,
socialist at least.
Socialist, absolutely. His followers would detest and loathe everything he stood for if he were.
Yeah, if he came back today, be like, "Whoa, I don't think you got what I was saying right at all." He'd be like, "What is this? This is not what I planned."
I think that's why he hasn't come back if he can.
Yeah.
But
when it comes to the Asian American community, people need to understand that these are Asian Americans, and that's the important word. They're Americans. They had nothing to do with what happened in China. And even the people in China really had nothing to do with what happened in China. It was the government, plain and simple. Just like when shit goes wrong here, it's the government. They didn't do enough, or they, did too much in certain areas, and it causes problems. I mean, people are people, and one group of people is not responsible. The entire Asian people are not responsible for this pandemic, and people need to get that through their thick skulls. Stop trying to blame them for something that is not their fault.
Absolutely. If I want to finish this up real quick because it's approaching 1 o'clock on your guys' time, and we got to wrap it up. There are some things you can do to help the Asian community. There's a website you can go to, which is Stop AAPI, which stands for Asian American Pacific Islander Hate.org. That's StopAAPI Hate.org. That website will take you to some charity donations, or it'll take you to certain aspects that you can do to assist the Asian community in this. Another thing you can do is educate people around you that this is happening. Show them the footage that's been happening right now. The old lady in San Francisco that just got beat up, but then just fucking destroyed the guy trying to beat her up. Her GoFundMe, by the way, I think her grandson set up her GoFundMe, has hit almost $1 million.
Yeah, that woman deserves it. She's my hero.
She's awesome.
I want to be that badass at that age.
But there are a lot of aspects, a lot of ways that we can help the Asian community, and not just the Asian community. Go out of your way, do some research, find ways that you can help the Native American community, the Black community, the Jewish community. There are ways that you can help without spending money. There really are.
And I have to say, the Native American community definitely needs your help because they have been fucked left and right throughout everything. So, but it never hurts to give. Give to any charity that you feel like you need to give to. Help a person today. I know that Jeff and I,
that's as simple as it gets.
Yeah, well, Jeff and I personally, we donate to a local food bank every year because we're not wealthy, but we're not starving. And I know a lot of people in this area are, and it's like we donate to the free spay and neuter clinics. These are things that we do even a smile at somebody or helping somebody with their groceries or opening a door. And this is not, chauvinistic or, misogynist. You don't have to open a door for a woman. You can open a door for a man. As a woman, you can open the door for another woman or a man. Just be nice, be courteous.
There's somebody behind me. I'm opening a door for somebody.
Yeah, right? It's just a nice thing to do. Be a fucking human. It's not that hard. Do unto others as you would have done to yourself. It's a very easy proverb. If we all lived by it, we'd all be a lot better right now.
Yeah, I agree. I wholeheartedly agree. Well, let's go ahead and wrap this up, everybody. Again, if you want to help the Asian community directly, go to StopAAPIHate.org. They'll give you a lot of info.
And the links will be in the description, people.
Absolutely.
Well, everybody, thank you so much for watching. I hope you take what we said to heart. Next week, we're going to be talking about the second episode of Falcon and Winter Soldier. If we add anything to it, which I don't think we will, we'll let you guys know on the social medias, which you can find down below. That's where you can also find the link to our merchandise page on Teespring. You can get a mug or a mask or a shirt, whatever you want. And it helps out the channel directly. Make sure you go to the YouTube channel, give that a subscribe, because now we have a video version of the podcast where you can see our beautiful faces. I think that's it for that. Maya, where can folks find you?
Find me on Facebook under my name. It's a public profile, so if anybody wants to follow me on Twitter or Instagram, they can also follow me on those.
And some of the spicy memes she posts.
She does do some spicy memes, so
I mean,
worth following.
I'm gonna piss some people off, I'm sure.
Oh,
But,
yeah,
hey, we don't need them around our podcast.
But you can also catch me on two other podcasts on the Realm of Collectors YouTube channel. One is Figure Bangin'. It's every other Wednesday at 9:30 p.m. Eastern. I got an episode tonight as the day we're recording this. And the other is every Friday at 9 p.m. Eastern, which is Nerd Life Syndicate, which is tonight at 9 p.m. If you're listening to this today, we published it. But yeah, every other Wednesday and every Friday, Realm of Collectors on YouTube. Check it out. Subscribe, like, follow, and do that for our own channel on YouTube, all queued up. Subscribe, like, follow, whatever. Hit that notification bell. We appreciate the support. And that's everywhere you can find me. Betty, what about you?
You can find me at Bright Betty on Twitter, and you can find me at Betty Badger Ogletree on Facebook. It is public, so give me a shout. What about you, Greg?
Well, there's actually one more thing you can shout out, Betty.
What?
Your YouTube channel that you have a video on.
That's a new thing. Give me time.
All right.
Because a lot of my kids' videos are on there, so give me time.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, we'll get that better out there when time comes. You guys can find me Chub Rock Geek on all socials. I've been doing a lot of stuff with Anthony lately, the guy that I did the Mission Start podcast with, and we just recorded a new episode this last week. He'll have that up eventually, I assume. But if you want to, what he's been doing over the past month or so is uploading segments from a Let's Play series that him and I did called What's on Tap. This is also where Hyperbole and Hyperboil. That's I don't know if that's uploaded yet, but when the Super Meat Boy episode, that's where that came from. I think it was anyway, but
yeah, it was.
So he's been uploading that to the channel. So if that's something that might interest you, go check that out. But we should have the new podcast up here very soon. And if you just search Mission Start Podcast on Google, it should take you to all the pages and stuff, but also wherever you find your podcast. It looks like him and I are going to be doing a quarterly episode where we just kind of, catch up and talk about games and stuff. So that should be fun. But that's it. That's it for me at the moment. Again, everybody, thank you so much for listening. That website, again, one last time, is stopaapihate.org. Go check it out. Do some good in the world. Like I said, we're just gonna watch Captain Falcon. I almost say Captain Falcon every time. Falcon and Winter Soldier next week.
Same.
Go watch that. Join us, and we'll see you next time.
All right. Peace, love, and polypops, everyone.
Take care, everybody.